two-time U.S. Open 9-ball champion. Dynamite, Darren Appleton.
I came from the mud.
Looks good. Looks good. It is good.
The most important one was winning the World 10-ball championship because it's everyone's dream to be world champion.
Couldn't go into the edge of this.
I'm a grinder, fighter, play with a lot of emotion, a lot of art.
Right, so shot number 3, a safety shot you must know. And I've set up a situation here, and we've all been in this situation, and we're thinking, what the hell do you do? Both balls are frozen to the rail. You can't bank it because the natural angle's not there because the ball is frozen to the rail. It just goes wide, or you end up double kissing the ball. So if I try to bank this ball, just no chance. A lot of times that happens, unless you get very lucky and make it in the middle like that. But scratching's no good. So yeah, the bank's not possible into the corner. The other shot I've seen some players do is that they just try and whack it round the table, and you might get lucky that way, like this. Maybe try and get the cue ball back down table. Sometimes you can get lucky, make the 9 in the side or even in the corner, or try and get it back on the top rail, but it's a very low percentage shot. So my experience in this situation, and having even spoke to some other fellow top players, especially one pocket players, and we've discussed this type of situation over and over again, and I think, in my opinion, the best solution for this shot is this. Right, so like I said, after discussing with a lot of professional players about this shot, especially the really good one pocket players, and after doing a lot of experiments myself, I found that this is the best solution, and that is to kick off the side rail. The reason why, when I come from this angle here, a lot of good things can happen. If I hit the 9 ball full in the face, the cue ball can stay around here, get the 9 ball back down table, or if I hit it really thin, I can make it in the corner, or it can come back off the rail somewhere to where it is now and get the cue ball back down table. You've just got to know your angles, and you've got to be pretty good at kicking. So it's pretty straightforward with where the white ball is right now. So I just pick out my spot, my angle, and put a good execution on it. And let's see what happens. So there you go. In my opinion, that is a pretty good result. But let's play it again and let's see what happens. Right, so you saw the result there, which was pretty good. So I'm going to play another one, and let's see what happens this time. There you go. So again, a really good result. So let's play one more. Right, so let's play one more. So nice and high on the cue ball, a touch of right. And there you go. So I played 3 shots there, 3 really good results. Not always guaranteed, obviously, but I think you've got more chance of good things happening coming off the side rail and playing it that way than you have trying to hit the ball direct. And I think it's a shot you must know and you must practice. Shot number 4, a safety shot you must know. Right, I've got a similar situation to shot number 3, but this time the cue ball is on the foot spot. So that changes your mindset big time, because now you can put your hand on the table and you can sort of hit anywhere you want on the cue ball compared to the cue ball being on this rail here. What I do see in this situation still is that I see a lot of amateurs especially still trying to bank this 9 ball in this pocket. When you straighten a line like this and the object ball's froze to the rail, it's just not possible. You're either going to double kiss the cue ball, or you're going to miss the 9 ball wide like that. And unless you get very lucky and fluke it in the middle, then it's just a big no-no. So that option's out the option. So remember that. The second option I do see is that I see players still trying to split the balls, and when you've got this much distance and the object ball throws to the rail, it's such a difficult shot. So again, I try and split the balls, played it absolutely terrible. And even if you do get to split it and you get the balls, let's say here, you're leaving such an easy return save for your opponent or an easy bank shot. So that option is out the window. The third option, what I have seen some players play, and this would probably be my second option if I was in this situation, and that's to play the double kiss with a bit of draw. Just like that. But the problem with that, it's so hard to judge the speed because you need to hit a rail. That rail doesn't count because it's frozen, so the 9-ball would need to contact a different rail, or the cue ball contact this rail. So even though I hit that pretty good, it's still a foul. Alternative number 4, you could still try and kick at the ball like I did on shot number 3. So let's find my angle, pick out my spot, and try and kick at the ball. See what happens here. Yeah, so there you go. It's a little bit more dangerous. I think it's an easy hit from here when it's so natural compared to here. So there are 4 options. The first 2 is definitely a no-no for me. Option number 3 is not terrible. Option number 4, like shot number 3, is not terrible either. But in my opinion, this is the best way to play this shot, and a shot you must know. Right, so let's play the shot what I think is the right shot for this situation. And a lot of pros what I've spoke to about, or I know, I've seen them play this shot numerous times with success. Obviously, it's not guaranteed, but let's give it a go. So the right shot, and the shot you need to know, in my opinion, in this situation, is to try and make the 9-ball off 1, 2, 3 rails. You might make it in the side pocket. If not, play it with enough speed to get back to somewhere where it is now, and you want to try and swing the cue ball around the table back down to this bottom rail. So you're sort of playing a 2-way shot. So let's give it a go. So just below centre of the cue ball with a bit of left. Hopefully miss that side pocket. And there you go. I nearly made it in the middle, but look at the result there. So in my opinion, out of all the shots that I showed you, when you're in this situation, this is the shot to play, and this is the shot you must know. Right, so shot number 5, a safety shot you must know. And I've set up a situation here where we've all been in this situation hundreds and hundreds of times, and I've seen so many players, even top players, play this shot wrong, in my opinion. Because all the real great players, the real great safety players, when they're in this situation, they play the shot the way I play it, and you can put your opponent in a lot of trouble. Where the problem in this situation is that you do have a lot of options, but which is the best percentage play? Right, so what is the best percentage play? Because I see a lot of amateurs in this situation, and they'll try and bank the ball into the corner. I'm not saying that's a terrible option, but this happens a lot. I see that option. I see that happen a lot, and even if that cue ball stays up, you're leaving yourself a very, very tough pot on the 9-ball. Unless you try and bank it and come round the table, but then you're putting all your eggs in one basket. I see other players where they play a 2-way shot. They go for the bank, but they're not really going for the bank. They're sort of playing that shot. That's okay, but you're leaving quite a big piece of the 8-ball. And your opponent's got his hand on the table, and he's got a lot of options to resave. The other shot I do see, and the shot what I think is really wrong, is this one, where players will try and get the 8-ball underneath the 9-ball like that. I mean, I've executed that probably as good as I can execute it, but when I come round and look at this shot, I can still see the 8-ball. So what happens now is that it's easy to split the 8-ball there and put the cue ball here. Or, let's say the cue ball was there and my opponent left the 8-ball like that, then it's a very easy kick shot. And I can stick the cue ball right behind the 9-ball. So I play this with eyeball with a touch of right. Didn't execute it good at all, but I still got the resave. Where if I would have executed that really good and stuck it exactly where the 8-ball was, I would have got the snooker. So that, in my opinion, is the wrong shot. So what is the right shot and the safety shot you must know? Right, so shot number 5, and a safety shot you must know. And in my opinion, this is the right way to play this shot when you're in this type of situation. So if the cue ball's in line with the 8 ball like this, or if you're in line like this, and the bank's not easy. Obviously, if you've got an angle, let's say the ball's closer to the rail like that, then obviously you have to go for the bank because you think it's very makeable. But when you're in line with a ball like that, then obviously it's a very difficult shot. Maybe if you're there also, you probably go for the bank with a bit of a airing with a bit of safety in mind. But when you're straight in with the balls like this, I think the right shot here is to try and get the 8 ball on this diamond here to maybe half a diamond across. You don't want to be coming here. And then you get the cue ball, come off the side rail, this side rail, and get the cue ball around here. So let's play the shot, and then I'll explain why it's the right shot, in my opinion. So let's see where the cue ball lands. Right, so perfect. And I think that's better than getting a snooker. Because if I would have got the snooker, let's say there, or here, my opponent maybe can kick around the back of the 8 ball, or he can come off the side rail and kick it in. A lot of good things can happen. But with the other option, where most players put the 8 ball around here, the problem with that is that you only can get the cue ball somewhere around here also. So you might leave that easy kick shot, what we showed before, or easy to split the balls and get the snooker that way. Or if you're feeling really crazy, you can leave the bank shot also. But now you look at this situation here, because I've left the cue ball roughly around here, and this 8 ball, more or less exactly where I said, it cuts down so many options, because now the opponent can't see the left side of the 8 ball, so he can't split the balls. It doesn't bank because the angle's not right, so he can't bank the ball. The only real shot he has really is to try and bank the 8 ball back up towards this way, but the best he can do with the cue ball is maybe here, so then you're leaving a potential bank shot or a re-save for the opponent, plus that's a difficult shot to get the speed right. So the only other option you have here is to hit the 8 ball fin on the right hand side, and from this angle that's a very, very difficult shot, and even more difficult when you've got this much distance, you're cueing off the rail, and if there's pressure on this shot, then I would rather be sitting in the chair and watching my opponent play this shot than having to execute it myself. So just by playing that simple little safety there, working out the percentages, and it's such an easy shot, but playing the right shot in this situation will win you a lot of games. Trust me, I've played this shot loads and loads of times, and it's won me so many games, where when I first started playing, I was like everyone else. I'd put the ball here, make sure the object ball's safe. But I learned over time, when you're playing these great players, you wasn't getting many wins from it and a lot of rewards. So in my opinion, shot number 5 is a great safety shot, one what is probably not talked about enough, one what is not played enough by all the top players, but one what is very effective, very simple, and it will win you a lot of games. So anyway, that's my 5 shots you must know safety wise. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you practice them and they work for you and you win a lot of games. And we'll see you next time.